Mercedes are going all in with its planned upgrade package at Monaco. After determining that it required a fresh development route in terms of its aerodynamic concept, the German manufacturer spent several months working on the significant overhaul of its 2023 Challenger. With the Monaco Grand Prix right around the corner, we are receiving glimpses of the upgrades Mercedes has brought to the W14 thanks to the cars being assembled at the Monaco Paddock. So in today's video, let's discuss what sort of changes Mercedes has brought to Monaco in terms of upgrades. First of all, I would like to thank all who have provided us with these images of the W14 from Monaco. And after watching this video, if you think I have missed to talk about a specific detail regarding the upgrades in this video, do drop those ideas in the comments section. Let's start with what I would like to call as a wish granted for the Mercedes fan base. The modifications within the upgrade package have proven that Mercedes' zero-pod concept, which it had been pursuing since the ground effect era's inception, has been given up in favor of a strategy more in line with what Aston Martin and Alpine have done. Yes, the W14 has sidepods now. If you take a look at this front-end shot of the W14, you can see that the air inlet look akin to the 2022 McLaren sidepods inlet design. By the looks of it, the top lip looks to be bigger than the bottom lip. This seems to be the vice versa of what Red Bull and Aston Martin did with their sidepods inlet design. I believe Mercedes had to make this design choice due to the way the car's side impact structure is designed and positioned. In this image, you can very much see that the side impact structure is very much unchanged between the previous and upgraded W14. That winglet in the past was pushed out to the widest point, but it is still in place as it is the part that you'll see the mirror sits on. And this winglet is what the silver arrows used in the past year as well to get around having the full side pods. This basically was the regulations loophole Mercedes exploited to bring the narrow side pods concept into play. The engineers back at the factory thought this winglet design would work for them and allow them to still generate the required amounts of downforce and seal the floor the way they wanted. But it didn't quite work out in terms of performance, and that's what we saw with our very own eyes, both the current and previous season. This winglet does go out most of the way. It is almost level with the floor edges to satisfy the technical regulations. But it does look to me like they've had to reverse lip the inlets from what their competitor offer due to the positioning of the side impact structure. A couple of reasons why they would keep that side impact structure. The most obvious reason is that in reality, in the cost cap era, teams haven't got the money to build an entire new chassis to change the positioning of something as important as the side impact structure on this car. If the team is to make chassis alterations, the team has to get everything homologated, crash tested, etc., and that just isn't possible within this cost cap era. This probably would be the reason for Mercedes to keep that side impact structure unchanged. Because if they try and mount it further back and get it inside the side pod, they probably would have to completely change the chassis, which even Toto Wolff said will be a difficult task. And I believe the side impact structure is likely too far forwards for the team to bring the side pods the whole way forward for what they're trying to achieve. The second reason for the team to keep the side impact structure unchanged is likely because they already understand how the airflow around this component works and how they could integrate it to the new side pods. That makes a lot of sense, as James Allison also has said that throwing away all the team has is a waste of resources. It gets more interesting when we take a look at the side of the side pod design. It obviously is going much more down like a conventional Red Bull side pod style. But there are some interesting pieces here. Again, the undercut looks more like what the McLaren had. It is surely not as aggressive as the Red Bull or even the Aston Martin undercut. The Mercedes undercut seems to be akin to the old McLaren or the Ferrari design. One reason I think why the Mercedes design is not as aggressive as of its rivals is because Mercedes has highlighted this upgrade package as its new baseline. In that sense, they would not have added a complex design factor until they have gathered enough track running data. The Red Bull and Aston Martin sidepods have more detail due to both teams running this concept for more than a year and making adjustments to their respective concepts as time progressed. So the minimal design could be due to the team just starting to work on this new aerodynamic philosophy. This image is provided by Albert Fabrega, and a huge thanks to him also. On this image, Albert is pointing out to the top of the sidepod. First, at the exact location, there seems to be cooling fins or pontoons present. Second, it is not very clear within this image, but it seems like the Mercedes sidepods have a tunnel, some sort of downwashing cutout, much similar to the Aston Martin design. This makes a lot of sense if Mercedes are actually going through the Aston Martin direction, considering both teams share the same rear suspension. Because this has worked beautifully for Aston Martin, and perhaps there is potential that Aston Martin and now Mercedes have decided that perhaps while they are behind Red Bull, this design has a little bit more of an upper ceiling than what the Red Bull has maybe. It is also possible that this is more in line with the Ferrari design. I would be a bit surprised if they've gone down the Ferrari route with a slight cutout. Considering Ferrari's comments about the team's design philosophy not have much of a development ceiling, I would be surprised if Mercedes have taken inspiration from Ferrari. But with the images I have seen, the tunnel is not that deep, not even deep as the Ferrari Sidepods. Or it may be just looking like a tunnel due to the angle this image was taken from. Now let's take a look at this front suspension image. With the pictures I have, I am not sure if the engineers have done something different with the anti-dive. But with what I can see, the top wishbone is mounted higher than before, which should probably change the amount of anti-dive the W14 has. Not many details I can spot from this image. Maybe with shots from other angles, we would be able to identify the changes made to the new front suspension. This upgrade package is also meant to consist a new floor. The floor has not been revealed, so I expect more details to be unraveled after the first running of the revamped W14 on Friday. One of the more important qualities the team is pursuing is making the car easier to drive for Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, in addition to improvements that will increase performance and downforce. Both have lamented the W14's occasionally difficult balance, which makes them less confident in it overall and especially when braking. According to Mercedes, improvements in driver comfort should result in a significant improvement in lap times. Toto Wolff, Mercedes team principal, warned against expecting a significant improvement in performance from the modifications before to the Monaco Grand Prix, but made it clear that he hoped it would benefit the team in the long run. "It won't be a silver bullet. From my experience, they do not exist in our sport," he said. "We hope that it gives the drivers a more stable and predictable platform. Then we can build on that in the weeks and months ahead. F1 is tough competition and a meritocracy. We are not where we want to be, but there's no sense of entitlement. It's just about hard work to get us to the front." So, what do you expect from these upgrades? Is it better driver comfort? Or is it raw performance? Or is it both you are expecting? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. We'd love to discuss it with you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have your notifications turned on, as we will be making a detailed analysis video of the upgraded W14 after it hits the track at Monaco on Friday practice.